Hey guys, Scallywag here, and I just wanted to do a little review of Cozart guitars. Two guitars of which I bought from them. One I do not have anymore. It was a resonator guitar that I bought for like $250 something. And I tried setting it up and tinkering with it, and I could not produce a good sound out of it at all. So I sent that back, luckily with no problems, and I'm not even going to be speaking badly about that experience because I'm not a luthier and I didn't really know that much about fixing up guitars at the time. So if you have more experience, you might have been able to set it up better than me and get a good sound out of it. And especially if you're used to playing the style of music that comes from resonator guitars, if you've owned resonator guitars before and know how to deal with them, you probably would have a different experience than me. And the return process was painless. They gave me my money back no problem, unlike other sites like Thomann and Guitar Fetish, which I've gotten ripped off and scammed by and have done reviews on those experiences linked below, so check that out. But Cozart didn't do anything like that. They gave me my money back without any problem, and I realized after I sent it back, I had forgotten to send the gig bag back. So I messaged them and said, hey, listen, I forgot to send the gig bag back. I wasn't trying to steal it. What address can I mail it to? And they said, don't worry about it, just keep it. And I was like, wow, these guys are at a loss here with me, not just for the shipping cost of shipping this guitar out to me and back, which they covered, but the gig bag, and they're letting me keep it. So that's a good company right there. So I went ahead and bought a 12 string off of them. And I only paid like $125 or maybe $130 plus shipping, of course, and I'm pretty much happy with it. In spite of it being a definitely cheap guitar, there's the balance issue right there, and there's going to be some things about it that are cheap because that's what I bought and paid for. But unlike the resonator guitar, I can get good sounds out of it. It came, unlike the resonator guitar, pretty much set up and ready to go. I didn't really need to tinker with it hardly at all, besides like tuning it up. 12-string guitars are naturally fickle with tuning and a pain in the ass to tune and sometimes to maintain and take care of, but that's just something you have to deal with when you're getting a 12-string, okay? So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter if you're even getting an expensive 12-string, it's always going to be a pain in the ass to tune. But for $125 or so, it's really honestly kind of impressive. I mean, like the bridge was already set up like that when I received it. It's like I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do anything. The biggest pain is that, but like they obviously need a heavy truss rod in here and like a heavy duty neck to support all the string tension. So that might not get too much better with more expensive guitars. It probably does get better, but it may never be an ideal balance with a 12-string guitar. I don't know. I don't know because I haven't owned any really expensive ones. The neck is good though for playing. It's not like a thick neck. The frets are not like super jumbo. They don't have any sharp edges here. There's no problems with the playability apart from the fact that 12-string guitars are naturally harder to play than 6-string guitars, right? So I can't complain about that. It's very playable. You can do it as fast as you would need to. I haven't had any problems playing it. It's not any harder than my other guitars, except for the fact that there's 12 strings, so that's going to be naturally harder. However, that being said, the other main trade-off besides the balance is the pickups. The pickups on this guitar are not that great. I mean, they're good enough that I probably won't replace them, but that's also because I am barely ever going to be using this guitar, okay? I'm going to be using it for a few songs here and there, and that's it. So it's also not worth it to replace these pickups. Pickups are not bad enough to replace for the amount that I'm going to be using this guitar, okay? But yeah, the pickups, they're not really that good of pickups. So if you do need a 12-string that you're going to be using kind of a lot, it's going to be one of your main guitars, you would probably want to invest more in a better guitar than this that has some really nice pickups. If you're going to be recording a lot with it, playing live a lot with it, then yeah, get a guitar that has better balance and better pickups. But if you're like me and you're just going to be using it for a few songs here and there, this is good enough, maybe even more than good enough. Like, I'm happy with this. this guitar. Okay, in spite of it being cheap and having these trade-offs, it was worth it for the money, and I get the use out of it that I need to, and I'm always happy with the sound. And so let me show you now exactly what it does sound like. So I've hooked it up to a cheap Fender practice amp, and this is what it sounds like clean. So that gives you an idea of why I said the pickups are not great. You know, it could sound better, and luckily it does when I'm using it on different amps with different settings. Like, I'm just giving you a very basic idea of what it sounds like there. And that's on the bridge pickup, which I use the most. This is the neck. A lot more bass. So that actually kind of sounds better, I would say. Here's the middle. It's not too bad. Could be better, but then you'd be paying more, right? So I don't personally dislike these pickups enough to like sit here and complain to you about them. I paid $125, $130 for this guitar, and I'm happy with it. Especially because I'm usually using it through a different rig that sounds even better. So let me plug that in for you and show you there. So now I've got it plugged into my Head Rush gig board, which I've selected the rig Clean Dream for. Let's see what that sounds like. Sounds much better, right? That's just the middle setting too. This is the bridge. On this rig, it's wet. There's an echo, reverb, whatever, everything. That's cool. So this is what the bridge pickup sounds like. And then this is the neck. A lot of bass. Let's try another rig. This one's called Clean Heaven. Much louder. And then let's do the bridge pickup. Pretty loud. This one's called Get Wet Later. And what I mainly use this guitar for is playing some of Troy Van Leeuwen's parts from Queens of the Stone Age. But also anything I want to sound super beautiful by using a capo, like with this Smashing Pumpkins song called We Only Come Out at Night, where it sounds like a harpsichord. Beautiful, right? this guitar still does sound beautiful in spite of being cheap. So for me, for my purposes, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good enough instrument for what I need to use it for. I'm happy with it. And I had a good experience shopping with Cozart in spite of returning a resonator guitar I couldn't get to sound good. I think they're good company to buy cheap guitars from, because if it doesn't work out, you can return it without a problem. And I had this guitar which has worked out and that I am happy with. I can definitely vouch for their 12-string guitars being good enough for someone who isn't going to be using one exclusively and doing a lot of recording and playing live. Unless you're someone who's a luthier and can actually upgrade and customize it, then you're going to be even better off than I am. But even so, I mean, this guitar isn't any more difficult to play than other 12-string guitars. I've had a 12-string acoustic, so I know they are generally harder to play. And this is actually, I think, easier to play than my 12-string acoustic was, because the acoustic guitars have tighter string tension, right? So I can play things on this guitar that I couldn't play on that one, like this from Queens of the Stone Age. So I can do the whole song that way with, you know, all those bar chords, and my hand won't be getting that tired during it. And I wouldn't have been able to do that with my 12-string acoustic that I used to own, that got busted up and I just got rid of it. I threw it out and haven't replaced it with another 12-string acoustic because they're just too difficult to play unless you're going to be tuning them down. I thought it would be easy to play a 12-string electric, and I got one and I was right, and I'm very happy with it and recommend it. If you're in the market for an electric 12-string and you don't want to spend a lot of money, Cozart is the brand for you.